To celebrate the king of clay, or should I simply reduce it to the king, I'm joined by Mahesh Bhupathi from Dubai. Mahesh is the first Indian to win a Grand Slam, and coincidentally, it came at Roland Garros. Mahesh won 4 titles at the French Open, and he is the right person to give us a perspective on the remarkable success story of Rafael Nadal. Mahesh, at 21, you would think it's close. Federer and Djokovic are one behind. But now Nadal has the 22nd Grand Slam. Is the GOAT debate over?
I think it's definitely over for the time being. Today when the challengers are coming so close, to beating these guys, winning 3 Grand Slams is not a given. Obviously, Novak will go into Wimbledon as a favorite, but 3 is a long way off when it comes to Grand Slam titles.
Mahesh, you've always tended to tilt a bit towards Roger Federer in the past, but your tweet last evening was pretty interesting to read. You said Sampras was termed the greatest when he won his 14th Grand Slam. Nadal has won 14 at the French Open alone.
Look, I'm a huge Roger Federer fan just because, the guy's a magician on the tennis court. But, statistics don't lie. That's the way, sport is looked at. And I can't believe it, 14 times French Open champion. It's mind-boggling, to be honest, because, I don't think the layman understands the physicality of winning at Roland Garros. And with everything Rafa went through recently at Rome, and we heard him speaking to the media after the match yesterday, him having to take injections in his foot so that his foot was literally numb for the last 5-6 matches, and still getting through that tough section of the draw and winning again. It's beyond special.
Yes, considering what you've just mentioned, is this Nadal's greatest win of the 22 Slam titles? Because never perhaps have the odds been stacked against him like this time, considering the draw where he had to go through Auger-Aliassime, Djokovic, Zverev and then Ruud, and then the foot problem which you alluded to.
Look, I don't think the seedings really matter when you're pitting anyone against Rafa on the center court at the French, right? So that, I think, is out of the window. What I saw, the comeback I saw in Melbourne this year from 2 sets to love down and 3-1, 15-40 down, I will still, as a tennis fanatic, term that as the best ever comeback and the best match I've seen Rafa pull out with all his heart. So it's a tough call. I mean, a lot of people saying the French is the best of the best, but what we saw in Australia was definitely even more special, according to me.
Mahesh, when you hear him speak about how he has no feeling in his foot, just help us put that into a perspective, because he's had surgery last year to extend his career. It's clearly not working out. But when you win 2 slams in 2, then tennis-wise, there is clearly much more left in the tank. From a sporting perspective, perhaps from a tennis perspective, if you could tell us, how difficult is it to play on that kind of surface where you slide around so much with that type of injury?
Yeah, I can't understand it, honestly. And, I was watching it on Eurosport yesterday, and, even Mats Wilander, Tim Henman, these guys, were mind-boggled. But, I think Rafa is that kind of athlete, right? Once you get him on the court, he's going to put his heart and soul into it to try and finish the match, win the match. And he's changed his game for sure. I mean, I don't know if you noticed yesterday in the match, he was taking so many backhands on the rise, trying to, dictate the point versus, 5 years ago, he would just break them down on clay. So he's changed his game to, do what he has to do, and, more power to him, honestly.
For 2 decades now, Nadal and Federer have entertained us. They've elevated the sport to another level. But both now saying in the last 12 months that they need to be careful to ensure that they can walk without crutches once they retire. Federer still out. He's not going to be at Wimbledon. Nadal, we don't know what his situation is for the next 2 or 3 months. Should we start getting ready for a double retirement announcement at the end of the season?
I'm pretty sure that Rafa is not going to retire. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did, honestly, but I'm pretty sure he was not after the kind of year he's had. But, honestly, the human body wasn't built, Diggy, to kind of endure the kind of beating that these guys are giving their bodies. I mean, I've seen Boris Becker, after all the diving he's done, multiple surgeries on his knees and his ankles and his hips. Gustavo Kuerten, Magnus Norman. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So, I mean, the physicality of the sport obviously is very demanding on the body. And, it comes with a price you most of the time pay for after your career is done. So I guess that's what they alluded to.
Wimbledon is next. No ranking points there as things stand. But you get a feeling that Novak Djokovic has to play there. He cannot allow this lead in the GOAT race to become even bigger. It's 2, as we mentioned at the beginning. I was speaking to Enrico Piperno last week, and he pointed out how sort of Djokovic froze while playing the US Open final against Medvedev, and he was probably also largely off color against Nadal at the French.
Yeah, well, I can promise you, I mean, I saw both the matches, and yeah, obviously the pressure got to him of winning the career Grand Slam or the Grand Slam at the US Open, and he was definitely far from his best. As far as the match against Nadal, I mean, that was definitely the best match of the French Open, so I don't think you can fault him. I think Nadal just found a way to win that 4th set and close the match out. So, I wouldn't discount Novak. I mean, the guy is, he's mentally the toughest tennis player we've probably seen in this generation. But having said that, he's got his work cut out for him. He's got a lot of adversity to deal with from not taking the vaccine. We don't even know if he's going to be allowed into Australia for the next 3 years. US Open, there's still a question mark if they're going to allow him in to play. So, yeah, Wimbledon is a must-win for him to keep the title race close.
Mahesh, do you expect Nadal to be there at Wimbledon? He's never won the first 2 Grand Slams in a row any year all through his career. He now has a chance to win 3 in a row, and we're 3 weeks away from the championships.
Personally, I don't think he's going to be there. I think he's put in a mammoth effort to win the French. Even if he's at Wimbledon, I think unlike the French, there's 4 or 5 guys who can potentially beat him. At the French, there was only one real contestant. I mean, everyone talks about Alcaraz, but beating Rafa 3 out of 5 sets is not the same as beating him in Madrid. So yeah, I personally don't think he's going to risk his foot. I think he's going to just save that probably for the US Open.